everyone. Oh my goodness, we are
so excited.
You know, I think we're a little out of practice. What do you think?
I think so too. Blooper reel, here we go.
Yes, exactly. We've been having to rehearse all day long, you know,
Yes.
having to remember Three Themes Live. It's the new name. We are so thrilled to be here with all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome back, everyone. Great holiday season.
Right,
And
absolutely.
now it's time to get going again. And boy, do we have a jam-packed show for you today. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to Three Themes Live, where theme number 1 is something to smile about, theme number 2 is something to learn, and theme number 3 is something to discover. Let's go. Welcome, everyone. Oh my goodness, I am so excited about the changes that are happening around here, including the new name, Three Themes Live, and a new time. And I know it's not for everybody, but you know how hard it is to get it for everybody, right, Allison?
Impossible.
Impossible.
Absolutely impossible. So we hope you'll join us whether you're live or not live.
Exactly. And if you can't make it live, there's always the replay, and we would love for you to be able to take a look at that.
Right.
All right, friends. Well, I see so many wonderful people in the comments. Let us know you're here. Let us know where you're joining us from. We would be happy to see that, because this is just such a delight, isn't it?
Thank you for all of you that missed us. I mean, sometimes when we do things, we're like, wonder if they care, but yes, we've missed you as much as you've missed us. So
Absolutely.
It's so great to be back.
It was a nice little break, right?
Yes.
Nice little break to be able to just kind of hone in on what it is we want to do for 2025.
Right.
And we've got a lot, let me tell you. So, all right, I'm seeing lots and lots of friends from both Facebook and YouTube. So, welcome. All right, shall we get started?
I can't even. We had to make ourselves a list of all the things that we want to introduce to you.
Here we go.
And we're so excited. Plus, we have a special guest.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So the first thing that we want to share is that, you know, for those of you who might be new, let me just give a brief rundown of what Three Themes Live is all about. It's something that we actually started about 4.5 years ago, and it's, you know, seen a few changes over the time.
Let's say it's evolved.
It really has. And theme number 1 has always been something to smile about, and so that's our goal, is to bring a smile to your face, whether it's something funny, but it might be something very touching,
Right.
something that is positive and optimistic about life. And surely we all need a little bit more of that, don't we?
Absolutely. Yes, every day.
So theme number 1 is that. Theme number 2 is where you're going to learn something. So sometimes we'll have interviews. Sometimes it will be, you know, a lesson at the sewing machine or the serger or the long arm.
A technique, a project.
Exactly.
I mean, it's something that you walk away and say, I learned something today.
Yes, and that is the whole goal. And so definitely, you know, always look forward to theme number 2. We work really hard behind the scenes on getting that ready for you, and we're super excited about what's to come in the next several months. And then theme number 3 is finally, this has been a little bit tricky for us to figure out exactly how we want to do it, but it's something that we truly believe, and that is something to discover.
Right.
And I think all of us want to know, you know, kind of what's the inside scoop?
How
what's
does this
happening?
apply to our lives? I mean, what did we discover that makes our lives a little bit better?
Exactly. That's exactly right. And so that's what theme number 3 is. And, you know, we're just thrilled to have you here, and we want to be able to introduce a few of those changes again to you. So let's take a quick look at a short little video that Kyle and I put together explaining what the changes are.
A new year always brings change, and 3 Things at 3 is getting a new name and time.
3 Things at 3 is now 3 Themes Live and will air Monday through Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Mountain Time, starting Monday, January 13th.
We've heard you, and we're working to make our horseshoe of friendship even larger.
Girlfriend, you come on over.
Join in all of the amazing things on 3 Things Live.
It's still the same creative lifestyle show for sewers and quilters. Just tune in on Monday, January 13th at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, or watch past shows on demand via Facebook or YouTube by clicking the links below.
Come and spend some time with your girlfriends during 3 Things Live, where we always have something to make you smile,
Something to learn.
and something to discover.
Let's go! All right, welcome back. So you can see those are a few of the changes, but you know, it's really the same people, the same kinds of ideas that we want to share with you, and we hope that you'll continue to tune in, and we really hope that you'll share this with your friends. So it's something that we all are very proud of what we've been able to do here. And I have to tell you, we couldn't do it without an amazing film crew behind the scenes.
Yes.
They are absolutely incredible. Eric and his team, spot on, and we are so grateful for them. So I had to laugh. Peggy said in the comments that she just barely got her family trained for 3 o'clock to leave her alone, and now she hopes that they catch on to 1 o'clock.
Well, you know, Peggy, I have something to say about that. Don't tell them that it's changed. Just tell them you need to be left alone from 1 o'clock until 4 o'clock, and you have
Exactly.
sewing time.
You're welcome, Peggy, here right in these seats the entire time, because we have a lot of information to share with you, and like we said earlier, a special guest as well. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we want to introduce to you is something that is very near and dear to both of our hearts.
Right.
Now, Allison, have you ever had an idea that's come into your mind and you just can't stop thinking about it?
Usually at 2 a.m.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And this is exactly what happened when Stitch Your Story came to play.
I'm so excited about this. I mean, it's something that, as you know, has been very dear to my heart, because we talk about it a lot.
Yes.
And so when you came up with this idea, I can't get this out of my head. So I'm so excited for today.
All right, so listen up, my friends, because we would love to invite you to be a part of the Stitch Your Story Challenge for 2025. Now, this is something that is very unique, because we're going to help you create a quilt this year that not one other person on the planet will have.
Right.
Because it's your story. And I get goosebumps
Right.
thinking about it. So let's talk about kind of where this idea, came to be. There was this quote that I came across one day, and it really, really stuck with me. And you can see it right up here on the screen. It says that stories are like quilts. They come from scraps and bits of life, and when done right, they remind us who we are and where we came from. And that was from Donald Davis. And I've always believed that everyone has a story, and I find that when I listen to people's stories, I learn so much more about them.
Right.
It's their experiences, the way they grew up, the way the challenges, the heartaches and the joys that have come through life to them. It's really shaped them to who they are, hasn't it?
Yes, not just that, but the families that they come from,
Yes.
and the stories that are passed down from generation to generation, as well as just the everyday things that they do.
Exactly,
And
the
if we
things
can-
that we laugh about, the
and
things
the
we
things
cry
we cry
about.
about. Yeah, I mean, and if we can just open our hearts and gain that understanding
Yes.
of each other, how much more are we enriched?
Exactly. And I think it really helps us to, just kind of take a step back and give each other a little bit of grace and be able to go, oh, that's why they do what they do, or that's what has led them to this point in life.
Have you ever heard a story, say, from your mother or your father or your grandmother,
Uh-huh.
and all of a sudden you're like, Well, now
And
it's
now-
all make perfect sense. I mean, you know.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And so this is something that we are very excited about. And so let me go ahead and tell you a little bit more about this challenge. So first of all, it is a year-long challenge, all right? So 12 months starting this month, year-long. And what we are going to invite you to do is that you're going to create a 12.5-inch unfinished block every month, according to a theme. Now, this is the great thing about this, Allison. Again, no two quilts will be alike. And even though, I think, oh, my sister and I, we, grew up together. We have had so many of the same experiences. If her and I were to do each a quilt, they would be completely different.
Right.
And that is the beauty of this challenge. And what I don't want to happen is for this to scare you.
Right.
All right, because this is something that there's no right or wrong way to do this. So every month you create a 12.5-inch unfinished block, because at the end of the year, we're gonna help you bring it all together, all right? So that's one of the things to remember. The next thing I want you to remember is that there's going to be a new theme each month. So today's episode, we are actually going to be talking about the theme of legacy. All right, so keep that in mind as we are about to bring on our special guest here pretty soon. But legacy is this month's theme. All right, are your minds reeling?
Maybe some
so.
of you are going, no, I'm out. Out. You know what? I cannot create a block. We're
Yeah.
not going to leave you alone.
No.
We're going to give you tips and tricks
Yep.
and techniques and all kinds of things to stitch that. And maybe you're like, I'm a really great storyteller,
Yeah.
but maybe I'm not a great quilter, or I'm a really great quilter, but not a great storyteller.
Yes.
We're going to give you all kinds
Oh, my
of
goodness.
avenues
Absolutely.
to stitch your story.
And you know what? Three Themes Live is going to become your go-to source for this.
Right.
So the first week of every month, the 3 shows that will be happening will be based around that theme. Now, we're going to show you different techniques, different ideas. We're going to share some of our own stories and tell you why we created the block that we created.
Right.
Okay? But that is only to get you excited and spur some ideas into you of what you could do.
Right.
So it's very, very exciting because the possibilities truly are endless.
Right.
I mean,
Now, what if, Kris, I just can't think of anything? What are you going to do? You're going to call me, because we all have a story.
Mm-hmm.
Let us
help you.
Let us help you as your go-to source.
And you
Put
know
it
what?
in friends.
Yes, that's what I was
Put it in
gonna
friends
say.
of my girlfriends,
Yes.
and let everybody help or give some ideas
Mm-hmm.
of how you can stitch your story.
Yes,
Because that's
exactly.
what we have to do with each other all the time.
Right. Now, Allison, are there any rules to this?
Well, it needs to be in a 12.5-inch unfinished block, but other than
That's
that,
it.
that's no rule. Maybe, and I hope I can pick on Bryn just a little bit. And I
Yes,
told
I
her
know
that
this.
I would, but Bryn, I meet with customer care every single morning. And when we were talking about this and getting really excited, Bryn is a fantastic rug hooker.
Yes, she is.
She's not a hooker. She's a rug. Is that what you call
Yeah,
it? Yeah,
yes,
she
yep,
does
a rug
rugs.
hooker, yeah.
And so she may do something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of you who do machine embroidery and you go, you know what, machine embroidery is the way to go, you could do as much as you want with machine embroidery. You could do hand stitching, you could do piecing, you could do applique, you can do painting, you could do anything that reminds you of a special story in your life.
And we're going
Okay?
to show you why.
Yep, exactly. So there really are no rules. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. I can't wait. I'm so excited about this. Now, we want to hear from you. We want to hear about your stories. We want to see your blocks. We want to encourage you. And so if you go to our friends of my girlfriend's quilt shop, you can post your pictures of what block you're coming up with. Maybe you need help, like
Right.
Allison was talking about. Maybe you want to share a special story. We want you to use the hashtags hashtag Stitch Your Story 2025, and of course, hashtag My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. Okay, now that's not all. Are you ready for this? It's one thing to create the block, but it's another thing for this quilt to one day be passed down from generation to generation. They're going to want to know your story. So we have a free download for the Stitch Your Story journal, and we would love to have you print it off. It's free, found on our website at mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com. And each month, you know, what I would encourage you to do is maybe keep the pages in page protectors,
Right.
if you will. Write down your story, perhaps take a picture of your block, and you can, you know, put it into your journal so that one day your children or your children's children or your children's children's children can go back and say, that's what my grandma was all about. That's what my mom was all about. This is why she is who she is.
My mom has a quilt block. It's only about this big, and it's framed, and it came across the boat when her ancestors immigrated, and then
Wow.
across the plains when they came here.
Wow.
And it's in tatters and it's in pieces, and I know it's portions
Yeah.
of different things, but how wonderful would it be
What a treasure.
if I knew what those pieces meant. We love
Exactly.
it. It's beautiful. It hangs in our home. It's something that I hope to have one day.
Yeah.
But what could those pieces of fabric tell if somebody had written it down and kept it together?
Absolutely, absolutely. So oftentimes, we as quilters, we're making things for other people, and we're doing things that, you know, are the same as so many other people are, and we still encourage you to do that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But wouldn't it be amazing, amazing, if you could make something that truly represented who you are? It would be incredible. Think about how special that would be in your family.
Right.
And I want you to do it for you. I want you to tell your story, whether it's to the world or to your family. Or maybe it's just a reflection of who you are to work out some things in your own life. You never know. You never know what
Right.
this challenge could do for you. I think it could be powerful, and we would love it if you participated and if you shared it with your friends. You know, I don't want this to be another thing. You know, I know we're going to be talking about the UFO challenge here in a moment, and you might be thinking to yourself, oh, Kris, Allison, I can't put another thing on my plate. I promise you this. If you will give it your very best try, if you will just see what you could come up with, it might be just the most valuable gift you could give yourself this year. So we invite you here at My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop to be a part of Stitch Your Story. All right. Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm just so excited.
Oh my
I'm so
goodness.
excited for the next guest.
Okay, because I want you to, you know, in fact, we would love to hear in the comments what
Right.
you think about this. Is this something that's scary? If it is, you're not alone. I don't want you to be nervous.
Right.
We're all here. We're all going to cheer each other on.
And let it
And-
gel for a little bit.
Yes.
I mean, it had to gel with all of us.
Exactly. Absolutely. Allie, oh, I love this. Allie puts in the comments that she's sending this to her grandma. This is such a fun way that she can share her stories with us. I love that, Allie. What a wonderful idea. So please, please, please consider joining. And I will also tell you one more thing. Even if you decide, you know what, it's not for me, I want you to still tune in for 3 Things Live on the first week of every month still, because I promise you, you're going to learn new techniques that could be incorporated in anything that you do.
And you don't want to miss our stories.
Yes.
I mean, you know, we're going to share a portion of ourselves
Yeah.
with you,
Yep.
which we do every single day. But I think we're going to dive just a little bit deeper, and
Yeah.
I guarantee you, it will be worth knowing us just a little bit better.
Yeah. I'm so excited. All right, friends, let's keep the conversation going on Facebook, on in our friends page, wherever it might be, YouTube. Let's keep cheering each other on. and encouraging each other. I know it's going to be scary for some of you, and that's perfectly understandable, but we're going to have a great time while we're doing so. Okay, you ready to get on to theme number 2?
Yes.
All right, so for theme number 2, we thought it would be absolutely perfect to share someone else's story who is in our community. And her name is Misty Littlejohn, and she's joining us from Texas, and she's one of our girlfriends out there. And let's bring her up on the screen here in just a moment. All righty, here we go. Hi, Misty.
Hi, y'all. I can't hear
Practice.
you.
I'm out of practice.
Oh, there you are.
Guess what, guys? We have to transition to theme number 2, and we have a new little
So fun.
excerpt
Yes.
transition
Yes.
for you.
I'm gonna sit
we're
back,
gonna
relax.
sit back, and you enjoy the transition to theme number 2.
The big hype that's going on right now is rope projects.
Take the project of dyeing rope. Add the dye, you add a little bit of salt, teaspoon of dish soap. The hardest part is, I'll tell you, deciding what color you want.
Oh, I
right?
bet.
Expose that inner core a little bit right there, and then you can grab a hold of that, and then you pull this outer core away. Cut, I'd say about 1 inch or so off of there. Push it right back over that core. And then you have this piece of your rope here, at least a finger's width. And you're just gonna fold that over like that. Then you're gonna take this and start rolling.
Like I didn't roll it really tight because it needs something to grab onto. By the time you're done, it looks like a circle. Okay. We know where Jackie's going to be the rest of the
I
afternoon.
said, I'm not going to go home. I'm going to stay and make some rope
That's right.
coasters.
There you go.
So it's really fun.
All right, welcome back. I really am out of practice. I better get on it. All right, I love in the comments during that transition that Shelly said this. She said, "This is why I wanted to learn to quilt. Leaving a legacy is on my heart."
Yes.
I love that, Shelly. Thank you so much. And we have Misty Littlejohn from Texas who is joining us, and she left a very strong impression on our hearts this past November, and one that Allison and I cannot stop talking about. Welcome, Misty.
Hi, y'all.
Oh, do you love that?
I know, I know.
All right. So
Let's see if I get it right. Hi, y'all, and welcome all y'all.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I start all my TikToks.
Exactly. So, Misty, why don't you give a little background of how we met?
I came across the shop and I got to talking to Allison about the legacy of why I quilt and what drives my passion. And Kris, we got talking about all these things about our children, and Allison and I talked a little bit about her stepchildren, and we talked about my son having a stepmother and how important she is to his legacy too, and how I hope she knows that her stepchildren are just as important in her life and for her future and a part of her legacy. And then we started crying.
Yeah, and now I'm
Right
crying.
there in the
And now
middle.
I'm crying again. I mean, you know, I really connected with Misty, and we connected over, you know, and so she wanted to stop, and I just had to hug her.
Yeah.
But one of the worries in my heart, and to just be completely vulnerable, is that I was never able to have children. But I have these beautiful stepchildren, and I have these beautiful grandchildren, and family is not just blood.
Right.
I mean, you know,
Absolutely.
family is who you let in your life. And I think that Misty and I connected on a deeper level because of that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we do have to share.
Yeah.
We have to share our children. We
Yeah.
have to share.
Sure.
We have to share the people in our lives. But that doesn't mean that we can't leave our legacy.
And isn't it amazing that the two of you connected there because you shared your story.
Right.
And that's what sharing a story is all about. All of a sudden, you do have this immediate connection, even though you could be total strangers.
Right.
So, Misty, tell us a little bit more about your family.
Well, a lot of the history of our family comes somewhat from my husband's side. But one of the reasons why I started quilting is because actually ages ago, I told my mother-in-law that I loved quilting and I wanted to quilt, and she gave me a quilt from my husband's family side. And these are some pictures from our family ranch. That's my husband, my father-in-law, and my kids, just all out at the ranch. This family ranch has been in my husband's family since the late 1800s. My husband is named after the first founder of the ranch. And, there's not property like that that's in families for 150 years and houses that are 120 years old that are still standing. And there's stories from his great grandmother and his great great grandmother that have been quilters all along. And to know that they're leaving this beautiful property and, this place, this piece of heaven for the rest of the family and children and him and his children and the future of our generations to have this place to call home is just amazing. And I wanted to be able to leave things that made that even better. I wanted to leave stories for my kids, and I wanted them to have things that they fought over when I was long gone. I wanted them to have things that they could touch and hold and hug. And I also make like wall hangings and things like that I want my grandchildren to be able to play with and interact with. And I want them to be able to tell a story one day of the person that made that and the pieces that went into it. And I've made quilts that are at the ranch that have been left on the couch that get to see the people that come through there, and get to be used whenever someone is at the ranch house, because this is something that I want to be a part of. I tell my husband all the time how important I think that his history and his legacy is. Sorry, my German Shepherds are trying to say hello now.
That's okay. Oh, well, I think that's really amazing.
Right.
Yeah. What touched you about that story?
Well, when we were talking, Misty talked to me a little bit about how this ranch has to be passed down from generation to generation within her family. I mean, it is family owned. That there's some, correct me if I'm wrong, Misty, but I think I'm right. That there's some Cherokee landmarks on your ranch that must be preserved, and the stories that go with that have to go along. But you have an older son who is a stepson, but is so much a part of that legacy that you are bringing into this ranch that will be part of that generation past.
My oldest son is my husband's stepson, but he's never been anything more than dad. The relationship between my ex-husband and his wife and me and my husband has always been so good that my son's always known that his stepmother is as much his mother as I am, and his stepfather, my husband, is as much his father as I am, and we're all family together. And him knowing that he's a part of all of the history, and we're all a part of each other's story. And his stepmom, in my eyes, is just as important to him as I am. She makes just as big of an impression on him and helps guide him through life. And I couldn't be more thankful than to have them as co-parents with my
Doesn't
son.
that goosebump you?
Yes.
I mean, it just goosebumped me. And I, when we were talking, I'm in tears, Misty's in tears, Kris comes over and she's like, Allison, what are you doing? Then she's in tears.
Yeah. It doesn't take much, does it?
Yep.
Yeah, but what a beautiful relationship.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is cool. So I think she should show the next quilt.
Okay, this is incredible.
So this is a quilt that was made in 1923. It was made with the people of the Tulia area. The Tulia Herald you see there is the newspaper. And then right below it, you can see the name Littlejohn. And my husband and I believe that that's Frankie Littlejohn, which would be my husband's great-grandmother, who lived to be 97 years old. And he told me that at 88, she put a new roof on her house. She was a tough lady that he just absolutely adored.
88? Okay, ladies and gents out there.
Yeah, get going.
That's crazy.
That
Yeah,
is
but that's a
crazy.
part of that's history.
She was a hard worker.
I know, but because she put her name on a quilt, it became a legacy. I mean,
And where does that quilt live now?
So it actually belongs to a family now. It used to be in the Tullio Museum, but a family has won it. We believe like in an auction, a family's won that. Actually, and I'm actually moving out with my husband in West Texas at the end of the summer and have gotten with my friends and said, hey, as I move out of town, I want to take something with me. And so I've asked a lot of my friends to make a churn dash block and somewhere put their name on it so that I can build a quilt and take that quilt with me as I transition into moving out with him and we go towards things like, I don't know, retiring and becoming, older people with being a empty nesters as our kids are all off at college.
Oh, I love that.
oh,
I love
so
that.
beautiful.
So what was your hope to, kind of bring this all together? What was your hope in being able to leave a legacy? You decided to quilt and share a little bit more about why this was important.
So it's important to me because I wanted to know that my kids and their kids, our grandkids, all knew not only where they came from, but where they're going to go. Because I think as we look at who we want to become, we have to look at who we were in the past. And that includes where we come from, our family, and our history, where our parents came from. And that sort of brings us to who we are as people. And hopefully I can leave those stories and I journal as I quilt. And I hope that when I'm long gone, these things are around and these stories are around and people can talk about what time was like, and I would rather them think good things, not that we went through 2020. I want them to think we went through all the positive things in life too, right? That there's good reasons to be good people out there. And I truly believe in life being a village and being a good villager. And this is a great way to leave my story so that my kids can see that being a good villager and telling their stories are important as well.
I love that so much. Okay, can you all see why we had to invite Misty to join us today? I mean, it's the perfect example of what
Why we do
legacy
this.
means.
I think that we are losing, and I don't know why, but I think we're losing without the hand quilting and the quilting bees and things, we're losing how many people touch a quilt or how many stories are shared over a quilting frame. And so I think that it's important that we find a way to keep those going.
Yeah.
And Kris, I think you've really touched on this with this challenge. I noticed in the comments, that people are saying, this isn't, I'll still tune in, but this isn't for me. But maybe it'll spark a way, if it's not quilting or making a block or any of those things, some way to share.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
Misty sparked that with us. And I know that Kris and we can't get you out of our mind, Christy. You've made an impression. I mean, you're a girlfriend for life now, but as you all are, but we couldn't get it out of our heads.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything you'd like to share as we close this today?
I agree with everything you guys said. I think it's important for us to remember that quilting was a community. It was a village project. And whether you're making a quilt just because it's trendy or you've seen something online and you want to go with whatever colors everyone's using, put a little bit of your own love into each one of them, no matter where that quilt's going to go, because even if you're donating that quilt's going to get a story of its own.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Misty.
Oh my gosh.
You
Thank
are
you,
just
guys.
so dear to us. And what you've shared today really, truly has touched my heart.
And we can't wait to see what you come up with.
Yeah, are you going to be a part of it?
Absolutely.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. I really appreciate it. And again, for those of you who are thinking, maybe I'll do it, maybe I'm on the fence, I'm not sure, but I'm going to see what, evolves. Make sure you download your free journal so that you'll be able to see all the different months, all the different themes.
Right.
Right.
Because you'll have
now.
them all ahead so that you can think where
can
it's
be
not going to be a
thinking.
surprise.
Right. But again, the first week of every month, we will give the challenge. We have some amazing interviews lined up, don't we? That's going to help spur some ideas. And as we go into theme number 3 here in just a moment, Allison's going to be the first one to share her block of what she did. And you can see that, again, there's no right or wrong way to do this. All right, so we'll be back right after this. We're talking about letter blocks today. Spell it with fabric. You can take any letter you want in the alphabet and create that letter, and it gives you all of the dimensions and everything. Why is this triangle look like this? Now we have the 2 parts of the A, and the rest is so easy. Now complete that and you would have a finished block. Really, I can't wait to see what Misty does this year and the stories that she tells, because I'm sure there's a lot. Now, there's a special quilt that I've introduced to you before, and I thought it was pretty fitting that I share it one more time today, because again, as you know, I truly believe the mantra that everybody does have a story. And so I created this. Let's see, should we stand up here? All right. And it says, everyone has a story. And this is actually a quilt I made for my daughter, Rachel, because it's something that I share with my children over and over again, that sometimes when we may not understand other people, it just takes a minute to find out their story. And then we just are, we have more compassion, we have more empathy, we have, you know, good examples in our lives of who we could be, and because everyone has something to share.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, that is our theme for this year. And Allison, why don't you start off real quickly by sharing us with us your block.
First I want to tell you the little story behind it, because we talked about legacy. And what does legacy mean? I mean, it's kind of
broad.
Yeah, it's really broad, and it's kind of who we came from. So when we thought of legacy, I immediately went to my paternal grandparents, who I just absolutely adored. They lived on a farm. They were actually, my great-grandparents were first-generation immigrants that came over, and they lived on a farm. And so I grew up on a farm as a young girl. Well, when I was little, the story kind of evolved that I didn't say mom or dad. My first words were moo cow. And that I learned to moo before I learned to say mom or dad.
Okay, that's funny.
Is that not funny? And then I also, one of my dearest memories is my grandpa taught me to drive on the farm in this blue truck. And so when we thought of legacy, I wanted something that represented that legacy, but I didn't go about it the normal way. So all of a sudden, I'm like, you know what? There was a blue truck in a Lori Holt book. Yeah. And so I didn't have to come up with the block on my own.
This is important, everyone. For those of you who think to yourselves, well, I'm not very creative. Yep. You know, I don't know what to do for this. Do you have quilt blocks? Do you have patterns from other themes? Do you have machine embroidery designs that would help tell a story? Allison, I love this.
So I found a cow block, and I put it in the back of a Lori Holt vintage blue, and this is my first legacy block. So my story will really be about my first words and the legacy of growing up on the farm, but this is my block. Now,
Yeah.
if you saw this, you would think it's a cute block, right? But it doesn't mean
Absolutely.
anything without the story that it comes on. And I
Yes.
didn't do a thing except open a quilt book that I found and make it 12 by 12 and add a cow in the back.
Exactly. I love it. I think
So-
it is absolutely adorable. So again, find a pattern that you already own and use it for your quilt block. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do this, and everyone's story is different. I mean, this is really incredible. And you know, we talk about legacy, but this month we also talk about heritage, which
yes.
is one of the same, truly. And so when we think about our heritage, where we came from, what lessons did our grandparents teach us? Or
And what stories
great-grandparents?
do we want maybe our children or grandchildren to know about us?
Yes.
I mean, how funny that
Yeah.
my first word was moo
Moo
cow.
cow.
I mean, you know, that not mom or dad. What made an
Exactly.
impression to me was those cows.
I love it. I think that is the cutest thing ever, and I think your children will, you know, laugh one day when they go, "Oh my goodness, that was moo cow." All right, so are you going to download your printable for the journal?
Yes, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
write it
yes,
down.
And write it down.
And then what I want to encourage you to do is take a picture and put it in
Friends
with
of my
that.
girlfriends. Yes,
Yeah.
I will. I will also post this on Friends of my girlfriends to
Yes.
get you started.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is Lori Holt Vintage
Yeah.
2, a pattern book I already had. But download your journal at mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com. It's under new releases or as seen
Yeah.
on 3 Things Live.
Yeah.
And then I just went to a book
I love
I
it.
already had.
Yeah.
Just use
Perfect.
scraps I already had. I mean,
Perfect.
this is not what my grandfather's truck looked like. I mean, you know,
But
it
it
wasn't. But it
represents-
represents that blue
yes.
truck where I learned to drive.
And tomorrow I'm going to share a story of a lesson my grandmother taught me many, many years ago. And my block is completely different.
Right.
Completely different. And that's what we're going to do throughout this whole process. You're going to see lots of different ways you could do it that will hopefully spark some ideas for you.
Right.
All right. Okay, friends. Well,
I'd like to think people wanted to see our blocks, but I think a lot were tuning in because they have fear
Yeah.
of missing out.
Yes, because we have some other really great things to tell you about before we leave today. And the next item of business, should we talk about UFOs?
Yes. Let's make them wait. Clear till the end for that 25th.
So a UFO, for those of you who may not know what that means, it's an unfinished object, right? And so we are inviting you. Okay, let me tell you real quick. During the Christmas break, during the holiday break, I decided I was going to clean my sewing room. Now that's a dangerous thing to do. It's good, but it can be dangerous.
You and Cindy Martinez. I don't know. You guys are crazy.
That's right.
Crazy.
Because you start seeing all the, you know, the packages and the everything piling up. I know that, you know what, I'm just like you. So many of you out there. And so I said to myself, Houston, we've got a problem. So I called Sherry up and I said, Sherry, I've got an idea. What about for our challenge? You know, we do a different UFO challenge every year. How about it being, it would be called Houston, we've got a problem. And she goes, oh no, Kris, it's more like Houston, I've got a problem.
Yes.
And so from there on out, Sherry and her team, wow, they knocked it out of the park. So we're inviting you to be a part of it. It's going to be a lot of fun. The cost is $10. But with that, you're going to receive the download. Okay, this is going to be something that you can print at home, or you can take it to a copy center if you want to. You can print it in color or black and white. You can print it on one page or two and tape them together. But this is absolutely darling. Shout out to Nicole, who did a fantastic job of putting this game board together. And so kind of like last year when we had Quilty Land, I know a lot of you did not like that tomato pin cushion.
Yes.
But we have a few other things that could derail you a little bit, but it's all meant to be fun. So we're going to have a good time doing this, and we're going to get our projects done. So you can check out all the details at mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com and be able to go print out your game board, get started. You have some really fun challenges that when you land in certain spaces, there might be some crazy things such as, let's see, Alien Interference Challenge, Allison. Area 51 camouflage. You've been spotted. Grab a random scrap of fabric and tie it around your arm to blend in. And then you post a photo or video on the Friends of My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop page, or you can email us, and we have an email there for you. Again, it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be encouraging. And at the end of it, what are they going to receive?
Well, we have a really fun needle minder.
Yes, we do.
Just sign up, play the game,
Yeah.
and at the end, you will receive a really fun needle minder, and we will ship it to you absolutely free.
Absolutely. So, and it's going to be, specific to this UFO challenge in Houston. I've got a problem, and we're going to just have a great time.
And
doing
along
it.
the way, there will be games and gift cards, and you know us. I mean, if anything, Sherry and team love to give away stuff.
Yes.
So yes.
Yes.
So join in. It should be really fun. But more than anything, let's get those UFOs done before spring hits.
That's
and
right.
We
And it
start
goes
again.
from now through May 31st, and you'll receive your prizes after June.
Yes.
Okay, so lots of fun. What do you guys think? Are you excited? And the nice thing about this is that it's not per project that you finish, but how many hours. So every 2 hours of work that you do, you get to go ahead and roll the die. So just grab a die from an old game box if you want.
Go to the dollar store, look on Amazon, they're really cheap.
Or we even have a paper die you can print out.
Yep.
So that's what you're going to do, because sometimes a project takes a lot longer than
Right. Who
others.
knows what UFOs you have? Once again, it's all about what you have and how much time you want to spend.
Does it have to be quilting?
No.
No. It can be if you
Go
got
ahead and hem those pants.
Exactly. If you're-
Vacuum that floor. Organize those scraps.
do whatever you need to do to get yourself set up for success in 2025. All right. And last but not least,
No, we have two things.
bowl fillers.
And then a call. Then we're
then
going
a
to
call-
ask
and
for
then a
some
call
help.
out. Okay, so last year we did the 24th of the month was $24. Thanks, Eric. And we did kitchen tea towels, and a lot of you have been asking, what is going to be the 25th of the month?
Yeah, we know you cannot wait till the 25th. So we decided to share with you
A little sneak peek. Here we go. So, welcome to bowl fillers. You're going to receive 3 different bowl fillers each month for the whole year. And on the 25th of every month, it is going to be $25. Now, there's something really, really cool about this. What is it, Allison?
Oh my word, I cannot even wait. Not only are they sewing and machine embroidery for all of you that will want both, but I don't know about you, but I'm like, I don't really want to do a bowl filler because I don't want to cut out those little pieces.
That's right.
They will be laser cut for you. So this is
Pre-cut,
going to be
pre-fused.
a really fun project for you to put together really fast.
Yes, so this is the one that is going to be debuting on the 25th of this month. Look how cute the little tulips are. I'm loving the tulips.
Yep,
And
my favorite flower.
This is all done in the hoop on the embroidery machine or on the sewing machine. There's both options, but you're going to receive all the files for both. And all the embellishments, so these cute little buttons that are here on the daffodil, the front, the back, and all of the
and they're
files.
just stuffed with polyfill.
Yep.
So if you don't want pillows, then you could do them as little wall hangings. You
Yeah.
can put them together in anything that you want, but so fun.
Okay, what do you guys think? Are you excited? Oh my goodness,
Alice
I'm
wants to
so
know
excited.
if the laser cuts will have adhesive.
Yes.
Yes, they will.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
So it makes it really easy. And for those of you who do machine embroidery, you're not going to believe this, but I have the blanket stitch on them. You wouldn't even know that they were machine embroidered.
Right. It's fantastic. I
It's all
cannot
done-
wait.
It's all done with a blanket stitch. And shout out to Cute Allie who designed these
Yes.
for us this month.
Yes.
So very, very fun. And it's got quilting on it, all of the themes. So anyway, so that's what you can look forward to on the 25th of every month. Of course, it is limited. And we will also have the designs available as well if you choose not to get a kit.
So if they do sell out, then the designs will be available on those days. You said, we heard, I mean, you know, so, but for $25, what a fantastic deal.
Yeah, and again, machine embroidery and sewing. All right, last but not least, now we're on the final
Yes,
one, right,
yep.
Allison? Tell us a little bit more about what pictures we're looking for.
All right, so, you know, January is always organization time, and it's not all about Stitch Your Story here, but we want you to send us pictures of your messy sewing room. So if you could send those pictures, we want to help you organize, or we want to look at those. So if you want to share your messy sewing room, maybe we can't believe it, or maybe you are on a mission and it's going to be clean, but send those pictures into info@mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com so that we can feature your messy sewing room on
It's
Three Things
okay.
Live.
No judgment.
No judgment. Yes, we are all friends here, and we all have them. So, well, maybe there's one or two of you out there that are immaculate, but most of those have them at one. Most of us have them at one time or another. So,
exactly. All right, friends. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Allison. It's been so fun to be back in the green seats with you.
It really has, and thank you, Misty, for joining us today. Thank you all of you for joining us today. We've missed you.
Yes, and we hope you'll continue. Again, it's Mondays through Wednesdays, so it's 3 days a week during 2025, 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Again, if you can't make it live, we'd love to, you know, invite you to watch the replay. You can do it on YouTube or Facebook. All right. Well, I think that's all for today.
Yep, that's all we have.
Okay. Thank you again for being here. Keep doing all the things you love.
And stitch your story.
Exactly. And we hope to see you again real soon. Bye-bye.